broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Sunday night, July the 5th. July the 4th, WWE was live in Tokyo for the Beast in the East, and we are here at AfterBuzz TV to talk about it. I am your host, Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann, but I'm not alone.
No,
to my left,
leave you hanging like that.
Not hanging. To my left, I have wrestling's walking encyclopedia.
I'm more sit. I'm a sitter.
The walking to a seat encyclopedia, Mr. George Hermoza.
That's my name.
And then they can find you on Twitter
at G Hermoza.
Wow, so saucy
and
today.
G-H-E-R.
So
G-H-E-R-M-O-Z-A.
And our predictions champion, who lost the belt again.
Where's your belt?
I feel like I should probably just go
I'm
get
gonna start calling you Daria. I'm gonna start calling you Daria.
We would. Where can they tweet at you?
I'm gonna be in trouble. Tweet me and tell me how disappointed you are, everybody. It's at Christy Reports. My bad.
Yeah, lost the belt. Were you guys?
I was all concerned about the shirts. I know. Can we start? Can we talk about the shirts?
These shirts were provided to us courtesy of ProWrestlingTees.com.
Thank you, ProWrestlingTees.com.
Thank you so much, ProWrestlingTees.com.
They really have some awesome shirts.
It took me a long time to choose this shirt and the other shirt.
Yeah, and I just have to put everybody out there. I've got my Sunny shirt on, and the back does say "Jabronis need not apply."
Yes.
So.
Done.
Did she ever say that? I don't think she ever said that.
I'm sure she said that. But yeah, who was up at 2:30 in the morning?
I'm raising my hand as if people on iTunes can see me. But
George raised his hand.
I was up at 2:30. I was waiting for that to happen.
Despite refusing to watch it with the rest of us at 2:30 a.m.
Because I don't like you.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
I was gonna make jalapeno margaritas.
Jalapeno margaritas?
Yes. Hello.
Okay, I didn't know those two can go together.
I was excited to see.
But I was up at 2:30. But in my defense, I fell asleep after around 3:30. No, 4 o'clock.
I think it was fun. It was worth staying up for. We get Michael Cole, Byron Saxton.
Careful here.
What?
Not live in Tokyo.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known the difference. It is a house show. Is that an expectation we should have, that they fly out the commentators?
No, but they just really tried to play it off like they were really there. They tried to snow us.
They really,
I feel like.
Well, because I didn't notice enough, but they weren't there. We found that out later.
Right.
And rewatching it this morning and then realizing the quietness of them, it's like, oh, well, they can't possibly be there. But we get a nice package. It's the first time they're ever live from Japan.
Not the first time they were in Japan for a show, but it's the first time they were live in Japan. They've done Raw and SmackDown in Japan, but obviously it wasn't live. Because if they would have had Raw at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
right.
So it was pre-taped. Raw and SmackDown were pre-taped. But this is the first 100% live show from Japan.
And the international fans were making fun of us Americans on social media, now you know how it feels to get up in the middle of the night and watch WWE.
Literally, I read a lot of tweets from British folk who were like, we do this every week, twice a week for a pay-per-view.
Yeah, we weren't getting any sympathy from them.
We were not. And we clearly didn't have anything to do the next day.
Right.
We as Americans, we celebrate heavily. We jump right into it. Chris Jericho's out to a huge response. Raw. Japan loves Jericho. Yeah. As they should. And then Michael Cole gets right into it. Jericho's career, he was known at, not the Lion Tamer. He was known as the Lionheart here. And then kept talking about it. He came up through this promotion in Japan, and I'm already oh, Vince McMahon's asleep and not in Michael Cole's ear. That's how I feel. And then Adrian Neville comes out. This was the match we all knew we were going to get. Adrian Neville comes out, and we're going to get this dream match.
But going back to what you were just saying about Vince McMahon asleep, probably duh.
Yeah.
But even they even recognized Neville's past, who got wrestled in Dragon Gate in Japan.
Yeah, and really good match. It went 16 minutes 20 seconds. How did we guys feel about this match?
It got off to a slow start, I think, and I was sort of wondering, like, is Jericho annoyed to be there? He just didn't quite seem super excited to get that match started, dare I say.
I can hear the internet blowing up at you right now.
I'm watching it.
I know.
I can hear people, oh, God, that Christy.
Didn't you see it on his face?
I'm actually getting my
computer
mouse is like
is
doing that little ball thing.
No,
I can't load all the negativity.
I see what you mean, but
he did not appear to have a lot of gusto.
But that strikes me
at the beginning.
But that strikes me as more of his style currently. That in this match there wasn't like a heel or a face, but I think he was subtly trying to play the like, well, I'm going to slow this match down. I'm the veteran here. I'm going to try.
Right, because by the end it did sort of seem like the veteran kind of schooling the not as experienced guy. But at the beginning, he looked a little tired.
A couple Y2 Japan, I like that.
I love this match, actually. I thought this match was amazing. I really, really did. It did reminisce me. I mean, all matches, especially with like a 15-minute, 20-minute, 25, they're all going to start a little bit slow. You can't do much with like 5 minutes. But with that said, I really like this match. Once it kind of did hit that next gear, I was like, oh my God, this match is amazing. Didn't think that. I was a little surprised at the finish.
Me too. I was not expecting Chris Jericho to win this match because Chris Jericho doesn't need to win. I tend to say this a lot about certain wrestlers that don't need to win, but he's one of them. He's reached like a Ted DiBiase, Jake the Snake level. He doesn't need to win.
With that said, I mean, there's the match was still great. I know a lot of times people say, "Oh, this person should have won, so the match wasn't that great." Not at all.
No,
it doesn't matter.
There
was no loser in that match. Neville, definitely holding on to his own with Jericho. So that alone is pretty cool.
And he did it with a lion tamer.
And this is Chris Jericho. A lot of people may not remember the Chris Jericho that maybe we do because he's wrestles 3 months here, 2 months there, maybe on TV. But Jericho from 10, 15 years ago, even 20 years ago, that guy was where Neville is right now.
And a couple people in the chat are pointing out that this was the start of a Chris Jericho heel turn.
No, that's not going to happen.
I could buy that. Heading into a summer tour, he makes way more sense as a heel.
No, that's not going to happen.
Although, I mean, he's also the host of Tough Enough.
Yeah,
that would be.
He's not even on TV. There's no point for a heel turn to happen. I mean, I respect the people who put that on the comment board, but there's really no reason for him to be a heel or even talk about it. Like he's not on TV. He's not on Raw. He's not on SmackDown. I mean,
he's not going to be advancing any storylines anytime soon.
Exactly.
He didn't win with the Walls of Jericho.
No.
He won
I thought that's when it was going to happen.
He won with a lion tamer. We're one match in. I'm marking out.
And it's funny. I was thinking about that too. And one of the reasons why he stopped using the lion tamer was because now that he's not facing cruiserweights, at some ways he couldn't even do the lion tamer on the Triple H or the Kanes and all them guys. But he still brought it out every now and then in the WWE when he did face some of the smaller guys. And I remember when he did it on Neville the first time, I'm like, oh, I wonder if he's going to bring out the lion tamer. It's oh wait, there it is.
There it is. And then Michael Cole calls it.
So you called it, huh, George?
Yeah, in my head.
He did. And then Michael Cole calls it the lion tamer.
Yeah,
I was most excited. The commentary on this night was superb. Some of the best commentary.
I was going to talk about that toward the end. So remind me about the commentating. But yeah, I completely agree with you. The lion tamer, all those talking about the Lionheart history, just FMW, Dragon Gate. I'm like, oh my God. Like, again, going back to the commentary, which I'm going to talk about later, it's so educational and informative. Like something that's, I mean, I'm not saying Vince McMahon is the end all be all.
I'm not saying that's.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe that is the case.
Yeah.
Because we used to see that a lot on back in the day, like 10, 15 years ago on Velocity, when Josh Matthews was commentating, and I was thinking to myself, clearly Vince McMahon isn't watching the show because he's saying so many things that I would never hear on Raw or SmackDown.
Or Kevin Dunn or any of the producers that are descended from him. And also, well, now we move forward. We get Brock Lesnar walking.
We're done with Jericho Neville match? Because I still thought the match was awesome.
Are we still? Yeah, we got to the. I was going to call out every spot, but the Jericho Neville match, I think we just about covered.
Brock Lesnar. We don't see a lot of tap outs on TV, so.
Brock Lesnar's walking with no Paul Heyman. Now, was I the only one concerned for everyone in Japan's safety to see Brock Lesnar without Paul Heyman? Like, that's like a pit bull without a leash.
Yeah.
Remember Umaga back when he had Armando Alejandro Estrada as his.
You gotta say it. You gotta say it right.
Armando Alejandro Estrada,
Who was managing?
who was
good.
managing Umaga.
Nope.
What?
Ooh.
Sorry.
Umaga.
Yes.
Come on, man.
But
where do you are? Where you are?
But there was a certain point where he stopped managing, and Umaga would just show up regularly, and I would feel concerned. We're like, but where's his handler though? Like, hold up, that's just a pit bull with no leash. Just there's like 20 people here. You could bite any of them. That's how I thought about Brock Lesnar. We just have Brock Lesnar walking back, like he's walking from his car into the arena. And that's how I felt. And AO was like, well, I kind of wanted to see Paul Heyman here too.
Well, yeah, I was sort of surprised that they wouldn't have him there.
He's got a lot of stuff.
You got a problem with that, fans?
Paul Heyman's got a lot of stuff to do day to day.
That's true.
He runs
Like running a modeling agency or something, right?
He runs a PR company. Also, tomorrow night after Raw, we get another Dusty Rhodes special. I hope it's not just like a hack. I hope it's not like an edit hack job like the one previous.
They've had some time now.
Yeah, they've had some where that one was forgivable because it had been less than a week.
Right.
Whereas now I'm like, you guys better have a lot of new content.
I mean, the best part
make
of that,
me cry in a different way.
The best part about that one was toward the end when we heard a lot of comments from the wrestlers.
Yeah.
But I heard this is what that's going to be too. Like they're flying in Ric Flair. So it's going to be they enhance it or emphasize the fact that it's a live special.
Yes.
So
all about it. All about it. I'm going to watch it. We get Nikki Bella in a triple threat match against Tamina and Paige. Paige makes complete sense.
Yes.
Nikki Bella's the champion.
Of course.
Tamina felt a little shoehorned here.
It was supposed to be Naomi.
Yes. Naomi was initially scheduled to be part of this triple threat match. However, she had a death in the family.
Mm-hmm.
So our condolences go out to Trinity on that. But so that's why she was not in the triple threat match in Tokyo.
And yeah.
Which was, you know what? It's kind of fun to see Tamina really get in there and
I'm all
get dirty
about
with the
that.
girls.
I think if we talk the most just the shoot of who would win in a fight amongst most of the divas, Tamina is like up there.
Yeah.
It's like Tamina, then Natalya, then like Paige, and then Charlotte. Those are my rankings.
Yeah, and there's just so much talk nowadays about the anti-diva and that whole thing.
Yes.
And to me, Tamina is that.
And
the
then
anti-diva to me, not so much.
Now, are we going to go with the tripleplex or the Tamina powerbomb? I'm okay with either, but we need to name this spot right now.
Let's give it to her. Let's
The Tamina bomb.
Yeah.
The Tamina bomb is where you powerbomb one person who's also suplexing another person because she's Tamina, and that's how she powerbombs.
Because I did say after that, I was like, what are we going to call that? How are we going to refer to that on the show?
At WWE was talking about was calling that a tripleplex. It was hashtag tripleplex, where I was like, that's cool, but like if she also was the third part of a suplex, I get it. But it was a Tamina bomb. That's what we're calling it. That's pretty much the big spot. And Nikki goes over heel fashion, and they brought it up at the top of the match. She's at that moment 78, like as of today, 73, 74 days? I can't count right now.
It's day like 225.
She's trying to break AJ Lee's record of 200.
And of course they're going to let her do that.
And they keep bringing it up.
Longer than 200.
I don't, that's just what they were saying.
No, it's road to because they're trying to do hashtag like road to like 300 or something like that.
Is it 300?
Yeah.
Okay. But she's within like 70 days of it.
Mm-hmm. She's getting there.
Which means we're not going to see a new Divas champion for the next 80 days. 80 to 90 days.
And that's fine by me.
I'm okay.
Let's not forget the Total Divas tie-in and that promo too.
I've been impressed with Nikki this entire run. Like probably the past 12 months of Nikki Bella have been nothing but impressive to me. That said, there are a lot of eager and worthy people behind her that just aren't holding that belt because they want to give Nikki this not title, this record.
Well, they are holding with the storyline on Total Divas that the Bellas are out. So I will keep you all updated on that. But as of new season beginning, first 15-minute sneak peek that they showed, they are trying to tell us that the Bellas are quitting WWE.
So about this match, one of the things that I noticed, and I don't know if it's because it was Japan, or I don't know if it's because maybe they're just the way things are going to be on that. This match was very, very physical.
Yes.
A lot more physical than what I'm used to seeing, especially by Nikki Bella and Paige. Of course, Tamina's always, she's got that physical presence. But man, I'm like, damn, these girls are really laying it on each other. But a lot of that has to do, if you watch a lot of women's Japanese wrestling, that's just the way it is there. So I don't know if it's just the way, like, hey, let's try it out. Let's give these Japanese crowd. By the way, I love the Japanese crowd.
They were amped.
Well, because Japanese crowds,
They're so respectful.
Because I remember, but they used to be way more respectful. Because remember when they did Raw in 2005? And like back then, Japanese wrestling crowds were very much, we cheer when we're supposed to cheer, and otherwise we sit quietly.
Like
since then, they've evolved to be a rowdier crowd that still respects it. And like this crowd, I was the most.
Like, if you can put the respect factor from the fans into the American, mostly the WWE fans, that'd be the best fan base in the world.
Also,
well, if they would be headbutting each other like that on Raw and SmackDown, that would come pretty quickly.
Speaking of the crowd being very quiet, I don't think Nikki, Tamina, or Paige were particularly loud when talking to each other in the ring.
But we could hear them.
We could definitely hear them. That's something we can't not mention.
And I usually get on the guys for that. I think the guys are more chatty in the ring than the girls, but I definitely heard a couple like, you ready? Yeah.
There were a couple of those, and Tamina misses the splash, the snooker splash. We're calling it a snooker splash. And then Nikki with a forearm. How do we feel about Nikki having a forearm?
That's fine. She's had it for a while.
But like, I think she can do better than a forearm.
Well, she does. She does a rack attack. But like, yeah, I mean, there are times where she looks like she laid on. Like when she hit Brie with that forearm at SummerSlam, it looked like she really knocked her out. So just the delivery of it. I don't mind if the forearm is probably more brutal than a punch. We never complained about a punch, And I've seen a lot of the internet saying, "Oh my gosh, ended with the forearm." Like, well, you were complaining like a couple times when that happened before. It's a forearm,
It is what it is.
Especially when they hit it with like maybe not the point of the elbow, but maybe like right next to it. That's a pretty hard spot.
Yeah,
it's all about the delivery of it.
They got 7 minutes 3 seconds for this match.
Okay, I really like this match.
Very
physical.
All the Divas,
I love it.
all the Divas matches should look like this match.
Yeah.
Right, and much better than the triple threat match we had a couple pay-per-views ago.
Yes,
I agree with that. Actually, very much agree with that.
Now, a match that was not 7 minutes 3 seconds. It was
to say the least.
titular. I still haven't learned. I pronounced that funny.
Bubular?
The title Euler.
Nipular? Anyways.
Brock Lesnar faces Kofi Kingston.
What are you trying to say? Like, what in terms of what? Like, what are you trying to use the word again for?
To say that it's the title match, or the match that's in the title. Like Harry Potter would be the titular.
I see what you mean. Okay.
The titular character.
Okay.
I'm sure there's another way to pronounce it. I think another show I do, I've done this before, and someone told me how to say it phonetically in the comments, and I just went, so titular. I just like saying that. Brock Lesnar, Kofi Kingston. Took about 36 minutes into this before we even got to know who Brock Lesnar's opponent was officially. They just kept saying Brock Lesnar's here, Brock Lesnar's going to do this. All day.
I didn't notice that.
All day it had been tweeting about. Yeah, we knew. We knew most of this card, including the 2 dark matches that we'll touch on briefly because we didn't see them.
Right.
And Kofi Kingston comes out to the New Day theme. Starts clapping. No one cares. Gets to the top rope. Gets to the top rope in one of the corners, and it was one of my favorite moments of this whole thing was that he was looking at the crowd and he was just trying. I'm Kofi. I'm trying.
Bless his little heart.
And then he literally went yelling into this, and then they cut to the wide, and then Lesnar's music hits, and it's like the Beatles came back. It's the biggest thing ever. Did Japan like the Beatles? I don't know. Doesn't matter.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Pretty sure they love the Beatles. They love Brock Lesnar more. He comes out, not fireworks, but smoke, like heavy amounts of smoke. No Paul Heyman, so no one's safe.
Right.
He is no handler. And then he comes to the ring, and this match is pretty much what we thought it would be. It would be 2 minutes, 41 seconds of Brock Lesnar just destroying Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston trying to no avail up top.
He put out such a good effort in. He tried so hard.
And nope.
I want to give him a big old pat on the back.
We should have that graphic that was going around the internet, the Kofi Kingston.
R.I.P. Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
I should have had that queued up.
That was funny.
That was very...
when I saw that, I'm like, wait,
I retweeted that a couple times. Because I saw a bunch of people who were going to bed around 1 a.m. who would tweet that and say, I'll watch it in the morning, but I'm pretty sure this is worth mentioning. But yeah, Brock Lesnar over. And then he realizes, I'm not done with Kofi Kingston. And he picks Kofi Kingston up, suplexes him some more, Xavier
and
Woods.
Where's the rest of the New Day to save him?
Here they are.
Here they
Don't
are.
worry.
Brock Lesnar takes them down too. They all go to Suplex City, which you can buy a Suplex City Tokyo, Japan shirt.
That's awesome.
But you're not headed east. You're still headed, I think, south on the green sign. And it's not in Japanese. I wanted the shirt so bad to be in Japanese. That it would be a green road sign, and then it would just say Suplex City in Japanese. Internet, make that for me. Or
Make it happen, people.
We'll make that for everyone. But that's not just... I'm not
While
weird
you're
like
making
that.
shirts, design one with Sable that says Farmer's Wife.
That should happen.
I'm saying.
That's a thing people should do. And now for the main event, which is funny because there's a whole other match. There's a whole other match after this match. And it's Finn Balor challenging for the NXT Championship against Kevin Owens. So excited for this match. Have been excited for this match since they announced this match. Kevin Owens being on the main roster with John Cena has just made me more excited for this match.
And I'm guessing you were not disappointed.
I was not disappointed by this match from the get-go. Because Kevin Owens comes out. Typical Kevin Owens. Finn Balor comes out. The whole makeup. The whole
So
bit.
cool.
Christy, have you ever... Because you've mentioned you don't follow NXT as much as most. Have you seen this entrance before?
I have not seen it before, and I was mesmerized. I thought it was so cool. This guy totally won me over, 100%. Even if he hadn't have won. But yeah, it started with that entrance.
That entrance is your gateway into who this person is and how he'll go anywhere.
I wish you would have watched his special because they had
Well,
like a
He had a
I knew
special-
enough
the
about
special
him
was
to be
on-
like, oh, what? How much body paint is he going to have on? Is he the demon tonight? Is he the cutie Irish boy? What are we
Well,
getting?
there was about a half-hour special before this on the WWE Network that covered just his whole career.
on
Because
it.
you knew he was going to come out as a demon because, of course, that's the way they build it. And it was just so special to him. I think they were saying that he's been in New Japan or just Japan in general for like the last 6, 7, 8 years. Just tearing it up. I mean, that guy is just, again, from what I hear, he was a main reason why New Japan and the Bullet Club were kind of rejuvenated New Japan Pro Wrestling. And for him to come back home, and in some ways it is home for him to come back home and have that kind of big spotlight match, I'm sure it was just like a dream come true for him.
And for Michael Cole to call out all those things.
And man, the visual of, and I go back to the crowd, the visual of him getting introduced and like all the streamers coming in on a WWE event. And like it shows the respect factor of the Japanese crowd. While I see American crowd doing that, I think that there's always going to be well, we don't know what that guy's going to throw, you know?
Yep.
Like you're like, oh, now it's my opportunity to throw like a beer cup in the ring, which we've seen many, many times on.
Or everyone takes their chair and throws it into the ring and
Yeah.
they fill the ring with chairs. This has happened.
I've seen even like even going back to like
awesome.
1991, Royal Rumble 91 from Miami, Florida. DiBiase was about to like telling Virgil to go, oh, give me my belt, and you can clearly see like a big beer cup hit the back of DiBiase's head.
I remember this.
But yeah, like I said, that's why I think, you know, I wish that they had the respect factor of the Japanese crowd, because that visual and seeing that, not all the time, but maybe every few months, it's just so cool to watch.
And after the streamers,
I'd love to see that at a
they
WrestleMania.
both get bouquets, as is tradition for the main event, which doesn't have to, like the big fight, the big match, and it doesn't always have to go on last. This match happens to be the main event. It just wasn't going on last. And they both get handed a bouquet. Finn Balor takes it respectfully because he understands the respect that it holds.
Yeah, and it clearly meant something to him.
Kevin Owens pretty much says F this country. Like, I think he literally said F this country and then threw it out of the ring. That man can draw heat from an ice cube. He can do...
Cheesy, but I like it.
He can sell ice to an Eskimo and then draw heat from that same ice. He can do both those things. That's what you need to do. And then this match finally, like, I'm already marking out and this match has not even started. Then this match starts. And I should have put my phone away.
Why is that?
Well, because the network is on a easily 90 to 120 second delay
Oh, yeah.
from the people who are live in the arena, which isn't that big a problem because most people who are live in the arena did put their phone away. And it wasn't that big a deal. And we'll talk about some of our favorite spots in this match. But right before the go-home of this match, like a good 2 minutes before, everyone else is talking about what's happening on the WWE Network. Triple H says, I'm live on Periscope with the new NXT champion, Finn Balor. And I'm just looking, I'm looking at his tweet, and then I'm looking up, and like, this match doesn't look done yet. And I'm like, how, and then sure enough, the match actually ends a full 90 to 100 seconds.
I hope you learned your lesson.
I did.
Put your phone away when watching wrestling, okay? What happened to back in the days when we were watching wrestling and just being a fan?
That's on them, dude. That's a major faux pas.
Either or. I mean, if there was a time to do that, it would be the time where most I would assume most Americans watched this not live, so that wouldn't have been that big a deal. Mm-hmm. But I was one of the people who tweeted at Triple H immediately, like, spoilers, bro.
Like, he was already back to sleep. He set his alarm, wake up, send the tweet, back to bed.
Well, because that was the other thing, that Finn Balor and Michael Cole, were not there live, were claiming that Triple H also wasn't there live.
I thought Triple H was there.
He was
there, right?
He was periscoping from ringside.
Oh, right, yeah.
So had I clicked on the periscope, I would have seen the future. I could have time traveled. You tell me put my phone away. No, I watched that match. I watched this match back without my phone this morning.
Yeah.
When they go to the outside, they throw Kevin Owens into the guardrail. Who's sitting front row? Curry Man.
Was it his? There were some girls screaming up there.
There were a lot of girls screaming, and then there was a guy dressed like Curry Man. Curry Man is a wrestler in another company we don't talk about. But I found that funny. There was also Japanese Kevin Owens in the front row.
I didn't notice that.
The Japanese fans were having a lot of fun. I tweeted some of the pictures. And what do we think of this match? I'm hearing some people say this match wasn't like a 5-star amazing everything. Maybe I was tired. I found it to be the best match.
What more people could have wanted from it.
I thought this match was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and going back to the respect for the Japanese crowd, a Japanese crowd is chanting, "This is awesome."
Yes.
That was really
like, I mean,
to
like,
hear.
when does that ever happen? When a different country is saying like something in a completely different language than what your national language is?
Yeah, that was fun. It sounded just a little bit different.
Yeah.
It was cute.
I thought that match was completely amazing. Best Finn Balor match I've seen since he started. Maybe Kevin Owens. I'm still debating whether that or the Money in the Bank with John Cena match was great. They were both amazing. I just don't know which one was better yet. You're not going to make me choose. I'm not going to choose. Not going to choose till December when you pick a match of the year. Exactly, yeah. But yeah, I thought this match was amazing, emotional. I think a lot of I'm hoping, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, maybe a lot of people that didn't know or don't think that match was as great as it was, maybe don't know the history of maybe Finn Balor in Japan. Because one of the reasons why I like certain matches, because I'm emotionally involved. And that's what WWE does better than everyone else. They get you emotionally involved,
and that's the point. Like, emotionally involved, and what I think a lot of folks don't understand, or some wrestlers don't get to, is the idea of someone like John Cena. He walks into any building, whether you love him or hate him, you react. And Kevin Owens knows this, and knows more than just reacting. These guys are going to hate me. Everyone here is going to hate me. There could have been someone who's followed me from day one in my career, which is likely. That person's going to hate me tonight. And that's what Kevin Owens did, and he went out of his way to get those boos, including a running chin lock. Did anybody else?
Yep.
The running chin lock?
The running chin lock. That Finn Balor was just sitting on the apron. He gets up, hits the ropes, runs towards him, puts him in a headlock. I love that so much.
Actually, I saw Mr. Kennedy do that one time where he was going to throw somebody up against the guardrail. He's like, all right, move, I'm going to throw. And he just throws it back in the ring. I love those kind of spots.
Those kind of spots that, like, I'm not even going to give you what you want, but I'm still going to win this match and dominate my opponent. All of that. So, with the NXT Brooklyn show, do you think Kevin Owens goes to the main roster and doesn't do the NXT Brooklyn show?
Yes.
We think that's happening.
I don't think he's going to do the Brooklyn show.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever see him on NXT again.
I mean, I think we're going to see him maybe like leading up to maybe like that, but I think he's pretty much promoted.
Yeah.
Especially because I do see him beating John Cena for the U.S. title.
Oh, I would love that. I could see that going either way. I think the fact remains
I was thinking about that yesterday as I was watching.
He's on the main roster for good. But I feel like they might want that star power and then have him do one last time with Finn Balor.
Either that or Joe.
I think Joe is pretty much going to take that spot.
Actually, you know what? I take that back. I do think it's gonna be Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe at the NXT special.
In Brooklyn.
But then he's just is he fighting U.S. champion? So he faces Samoa Joe in Brooklyn on Saturday night, and then he's U.S. champion fighting somebody at SummerSlam the following night.
I think Finn Balor faces Samoa Joe for the NXT title.
Okay. Yeah,
because there's no one else really there. Everyone else is hurt.
Yeah,
everyone else is hurt.
Everyone's hurt or got called up. I don't know, Charlotte. I think Charlotte could take on.
I do think Charlotte's gonna side with Paige sometime soon.
Really soon. I've been waiting.
You guys like that pairing?
I would love that pairing.
Yeah.
I just want to see Charlotte.
That might just be too much power.
I just want to see Charlotte on TV regular basis.
Too much domination. Putting those two together.
Hashtag Chinlock City. That's funny. Also Balor hit the Bloody Sunday, which is another move that wasn't on like a Prince Devitt move from before.
We saw a lot of new moves from like Samoa Joe with like I don't know what it's called, the rolling, like the get you on the rolling Samoan drop from like the middle turnbuckle.
Oh yeah,
we first time we saw him do that.
Although if you're in Samoa, it's just called a drop.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a little known fact about the Samoan drop. Oh man, this match. I don't want to try to break this match down move by move because you guys watched it, and I would do a poor job and just mispronounce stuff.
Yeah, everybody matches, but I mean everybody watched the match. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Where this match was just too great.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Even like after Tatsumi Fujinami coming out.
Oh man.
You have Hideo Itami from the front row. He's still out for a few months, but yeah, everything that you can want. This was like a WrestleMania style match that you would see. Like that's how a WrestleMania would end.
Pretty much, and I also. Whatchamacallit, I feel I've read it multiple places, and this is pure hearsay, but that the plan was initially for Hideo Itami to have this, to beat Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship in Japan live on the network, and he just happens to be hurt.
Yeah.
Although I'm hearing a lot more the other way that like no, this has been the plan. The plan was to give the belt to Balor on Owens' way out.
I'm kind of curious, like obviously
both are great choices there.
I would want to hear more from the Japanese fans, like who they thought was a bigger star, Balor or Itami.
In Japan, Itami has to be. Well,
I want to hear it from them.
Kobashi is.
No, but I want to hear of them two. Like I want to know who was a bigger star to them. Like
our Japanese listeners,
because I mean,
now's your time.
Because New Japan is the WWE of Japan.
Yeah,
but Itami wasn't in New Japan, so it's like that's saying, oh, who was a bigger star, John Cena or like Bobby Roode?
Okay,
you know what I mean. So yes, Bobby Roode may be a better wrestler overall, but you know what I'm saying. Like, so I just want to know if anyone's watching from Japan out there, just let me know who do you guys think was the bigger star.
I don't know. That Itami thing just seems too convenient. Like people are just assuming that maybe that's what was supposed to happen. Because it just makes sense.
I'm pretty sure if he wasn't hurt, he'd be on this card.
Absolutely.
Somewhere, yeah.
So
I mean, they flew him out there, even when he wasn't hurt. Or even when he was hurt.
Probably because him sitting there is probably enough of a selling point in Japan where it's like, oh,
absolutely.
Itami will be there, sitting there. Speaking of which, we had two dark matches that I was actually kind of disappointed I didn't get to see. We get Cesaro versus Diego. And then Cesaro won by submission.
Diego? Primo or Epico?
Primo?
Sure. Okay.
I had a 50% chance of being correct. I should know. I don't know. And then the Lucha Dragons, which are Kalisto and Sin Cara, defeated the other members of the New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods.
Yeah,
they did mention. Michael Cole did mention that was his match
he
before the show.
He mentioned that one.
Yeah.
But those happened. We didn't see them. None of us saw them. If you make it a special, I'll watch those two matches. I will. You already have my money.
Well, this actually pulled in great numbers for WWE. They're happy with the numbers, so maybe next time they will let it be 3 hours and let us see everything. I don't know what the decision was.
And here's another thing I was thinking of is this was essentially a house show, which becomes clear when I talk about this next match. That this is just a house show that happens to be in Japan that had an NXT title match in it. Mm-hmm. So it was necessary. There was like, hey, we should probably put this on the network and people will watch it. Mm-hmm. Do we think there's a market for... I'm not saying all house shows, but like the big house shows. Like if they do a house show at Madison Square Garden or the Staples Center or another country that they haven't been to in a long time, like China, should they have more specials like this?
I think it's just they should. I don't think that they can. because a lot of this special was a joint production with them and J Sports, which is a big Japanese channel.
Because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to broadcast
if they
from
can,
a place.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they can do MSG no matter what. But, yeah, if they can, absolutely.
If they set it up, invest one time, then they can do it all the time.
And that's although the next one would have to not have what I would call a match of consequence. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens is what we all, like, came to see and a title changed. Mm-hmm. Whereas the next time, if they do a big house show in London, let's say, and they just put the card up, but it's a house show card, and none of the matches are of any consequence. Some of them are title matches, but that's not going to change hands, and it's going to end in a big tag match. They need to see if that'll do as well as this.
That's true.
I think it might. When are they
I respectfully disagree.
I will check their schedule later and see when they're in London or.
They're usually in London in April and October.
Got it. So October is when they can do this again.
October. Or November, yeah.
March.
They're usually November.
And let's get to someone's main event. We've got John Cena and Dolph Ziggler against Kane and King Barrett. Because Kane and King Barrett, such a likely pairing.
Yeah, right? BFFs, those two.
Kane and Wayne. I mean, there's really not much to say about this match. You know who's going to win. And it wasn't even like it was a good, okay match. It wasn't a bad match, but it was like, it wasn't like, oh my God, that was the best tag match ever. It was like, okay. This was exactly how you thought it would go.
Pretty much.
Ziggler getting his little butt kicked.
Well, before that, how many, because this is going to be a trivia question at some point later in our lives, so we need to recall it now.
Okay, July 4th.
Are y'all listening out there?
July 4th. No. On that date, in that match, how many vests did Dolph Ziggler wear? 3. The answer is 3. There's a user on Reddit who said this initially. I'm taking it from them. There's a screenshot on my Twitter that he'll have credit there. But yes, 3. He had 3 vests. That was the highlight of this match for me. Dolph Ziggler took off.
That is not saying a whole lot.
Dolph Ziggler took off 3 vests. And then this match was...
Doesn't he know you're supposed to pack light when you travel abroad? Hello?
I wonder, did he travel... Because, I mean, that takes up a lot of space in your bag. Like, he probably wore all 3 vests through security.
Had to have. You know that guy has a lot of hair product
for an international flight. And they're all in Chicago, like, tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they pretty much got to celebrate 4th of July on a plane.
Chicago, home of ProWrestlingTees.com.
Yes, that is correct.
I do want to say a couple things, that kind of sidebars, but still kind of go along with the event. One, like I said, the commentating, I thought it was amazing.
Yes.
Michael Cole gets a lot of flack. Gets like so much, like, oh my God, he's the worst, etc., etc. Mm-hmm. Michael Cole's actually a really good commentator, to be honest with you. If you knew everything that Michael Cole does, I think that you would respect him a lot more. Mm-hmm. Not you. I'm saying you in general, you know.
Us, we get it.
With that said, he was amazing last night.
Yes.
Or whatever it was. But he was truly amazing. He was educational, informative, like not sidetracking, not being a jokester. Like that was the Michael Cole I know I can see. I've seen it before. He was great on SmackDown with Taz. Like that was like the best duo, like better than JR and Lawler at times. But yes, this was commentating wise. Even Saxton was good. One of the best commentating I've ever seen by Michael Cole.
So, but what do you think it was? Do you think it was the fact that there was only 2 of them? They had more talk time?
I think fans wasn't watching. I mean,
no, I don't want to make it that simplistic as much as that's a part of it.
Them not
there's
being
only
there
2
live
of them
helps them, you think?
that help them. The fact that they don't have so much to promote, because on Monday Night Raw, he has to plug the app, he has to plug the network, he has to plug Total Divas, he has to plug the storyline that's happening in the match that's happening. He has to plug a toy line or a commercial sponsor that may be tied to the match that's happening. And there's 3 people instead of 2. One of whom is JBL, who is a great color commentator in the sense that he doesn't try to call the match. That's the color commentator's job.
I think in some ways too, going back to Divas match, you got to know your audience too. You know who's going to watch this show. Yeah. So there's no point to doing all the regular things that he, in some ways, has to do during Raw. So there's no point to doing that on the Japan, Live from Tokyo show.
Well, he sat down and called a wrestling match.
Exactly.
And it was like, oh, he can do that too.
Yeah.
That makes me respect him even more, that he's able to handle everything else.
Absolutely.
Because at any given moment, three people at one table are promoting all those things. And they're trying to have witty banter amongst themselves, which sometimes gets out of hand. And at least 2 segments in a 3-hour show, there's a fourth person sitting there trying to get all his stuff in, on top of all this other stuff. That the fact that most weeks the commentary is like listenable, it's kind of incredible.
Another thing I do want to mention too is not next year, obviously not the following year, but do we forever's a long time. Do we ever see a WrestleMania in Tokyo, in London, or anything like that? Anything that comes close to it? And I will tell you why I think that it will happen.
Well,
And I will tell you why it will not.
We'll go ahead.
we'll
Kristen.
go on.
No, you start.
No, I said it.
And I can counter.
Well, we got us a Canadian
just
standoff
because
here.
you just think so?
We got
Is
us
that
a
your
Canadian standoff.
No,
No,
I mean-
you go. No, you go.
It's a press issue, 100%. They're not going to get the same media coverage. It's all about social media, pictures on red carpets, interviews.
Well, and it's also about...
They got to be here so they can be interviewed by me on the red carpet.
Well, it's also about the American dollar as well, that American cities pay a lot of money to put a big event like that in their city that an international city might not do.
Right. And just the
I'm
fact
not-
that it costs them so much to haul everybody's butts over there.
I'm not
and-
ruling out us having a SummerSlam or another show. I'm not ruling out a pay-per-view in general in another
do
city.
not give them any ideas. SummerSlam needs to come back to LA.
Let's be real. SummerSlam's not coming back for at least a decade. We've had it enough. It's gone. We need to just move. All us Angelinos need to move forward. We're gonna get Hell in a Cell. We're gonna get a pay-per-view every year. That's gonna
Right.
happen. We're that big a market, and we don't have a football team to cloud our to cloud our busy schedules.
While I don't necessarily see a WrestleMania going international, I do see SummerSlam going international because, quite frankly, and we clearly know now, it's not about watching it at the time that it is. Oh, well, it's the time difference. No, nothing to do with that. It's nowadays is how many people have the network. It's all about how many subscribers now. It doesn't have anything to do with how many people are going to watch. Because if the thing's at 2 a.m, yeah, I might not watch it live, but hey, come on over to my house. We'll all watch it at noon. I'll barbecue. Things like that. It's like it's not even about watching it live anymore. Yeah, exactly. It's just about subscribers. So with that said, I don't like you said. I don't see the Mania going to Tokyo or whatever because of the media and everything. But yes,
The hoopla.
I totally see a SummerSlam going to Tokyo, to London, to Mexico City. So I think that would be pretty cool.
Yes, I agree. It would be
cool.
It would be cool, and it would fit their newer goal, which is
especially how SummerSlam was. When it was in LA, it was a big deal. They would literally fly out the entire roster, including a lot of the NXT people. They'd put them up in a hotel. They do the access, do all the fan fest. They can do that for other cities now. That now it can be the same way American cities bid for Mania. I think international cities can bid for SummerSlam, and why not?
Love that.
And then again,
That's a really
it'd be
good point.
weird because in other countries, it might be Winter Slam.
That's true.
'Cause,
That's
yeah.
true. You know what? That's a good point because, in all
That was a good one,
honesty,
George.
them coming here for SummerSlam and me meeting everybody and getting to interview them and having all the hoopla be here in LA is what kind of pulled me back in a few years ago. So,
To change gears, we're all on a Tough Enough panel,
yes,
and
and we have a good time, people. If you're not watching, you're missing out.
Patrick holds a very good distinction to me, and he's already my choice to win. But Patrick holds Patrick holds an amazing distinction that 2:30 in the morning, 5:30 for him in Orlando, Florida. He was the only contestant awake in the barracks, live tweeting this event. He tweeted a picture. He tweeted a picture of an empty living room in the barracks with just him and the Jersey Devil lobster. The Jersey Devil lobster was also there.
I told her, I was like, how does Daria, for anybody who watches Tough Talk, how does that lobster have more Twitter followers than me already?
That lobster is out of control.
I know. I saw that today.
So that's just a quick
problem for me.
That's a quick shout out to Patrick. He's
We're rooting for you, buddy.
for real taking this cereal. I'll go with cereal. That said, I'm sure at least 2 other contestants were watching it on their phone in their bed.
Oh, you give him too much credit, Steve.
You should text Daria and ask.
Daria said that she was watching it afterwards. She's like, oh, thanks Patrick for showing me this awesome night. awesome card, awesome show. But yeah, I do want to see more of these kind of shows. I know they were going to say about maybe having more live specials, but let's say they can't just add one like in like a couple months. But the Brooklyn show, I think that should be interesting as far as what it's going to look like. Are they going to sell as many tickets at SummerSlam? I don't know, because it's like Saturday's NXT and Barclays, Sunday is SummerSlam, and then Monday you're doing Monday Night Raw in the same building. Goddamn Brooklyn. I'm
interested to see how well they do in Brooklyn. And we'll see that, and we'll be here talking about it. John Cena over. That's where we came off on a bit of a tangent. We were talking about this match. LOL, Cena wins.
Yeah, like I said, the match. The match was what? Eskimo Brothers?
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Yeah. Do you know what that means?
Do you know what that means?
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler and Cena.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You guys were just supposed to laugh. We didn't even
sorry. People are going to Google that now.
That I never even thought of, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Oh, that's my first thought anytime they do.
Because I think I asked you like
how weird it must be.
I think I asked you like not too long ago. I was like, wait, which is the Bella that Ziggler went out with? And I was like, oh, it's Nikki. And I was like, oh, that's funny. But then now I was like, I never even would have thought of that. Team Eskimo Brother. That's hilarious.
That's why I'm here. You all wonder. That's why.
Wow.
There you go.
I wish you were tweeting alongside. I wish you were tweeting with me during this match. That would have been awesome.
Oh yeah,
Next time.
But that match was exactly how you thought it would go. There was no way that in the world that Kane and Barrett would ever win.
So Battleground. Yeah. We're gonna know pretty much that whole card by tomorrow because it's 2 weeks, 2 Sundays away. We'll be here talking about it, and I think
I'll be here talking about it.
We covered Beast in the East pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, I just want to say one last thing.
Please.
It was really cool that it was a live
things.
show.
Yeah.
Well, I think something else to say too. But it was cool because you felt like you were really there. It didn't have all the bells and whistles of a Raw or a SmackDown. It just felt a little bit grittier.
More intimate.
And I liked that. Yeah, and that was cool.
Sometimes you don't really need the big atmosphere environment to have a really good show.
Yeah.
I think maybe if it was more NXT based, it probably would have been a little bit more well-rounded. But yeah, like I said, going back to like even like the NXT specials, 2 hours is like plenty of time.
More than enough time.
Yeah.
Like so much so that if we didn't have that tag match at the end, we could have had the other 2 matches, the other 2 dark matches. But
just a thought.
It's clear, but it's clear.
Although I will say this, I'm surprised that Brock Lesnar didn't go on last, just for the sake of. He was the main guy that they were promoting. It was called the Beast in the East. So I'm kind of curious, not that there was any reason to turn off the TV, but after people saw Brock Lesnar, it's like, well, I saw what I wanted to see. Now what? So I'm surprised he should have went maybe, not last, because you can't end on that, but maybe like a little different structuring as far as maybe after the Owens-Balor match. But then again, how do you follow that? There's no way you follow that.
I think the pacing and how they started the matches off right, because the Divas match in between Neville and the Lesnar match, that seemed like the right pacing. But yeah, this was awesome. We got to talk about this.
Like I said, the visual. I'm big on visuals, and going back to like maybe even another visual, like Hogan and Rock when they were face to face at WrestleMania 18, like the flash bulbs, the light bulbs, like everything bouncing off their chests in front of like 78,000 people. To me, that's now on par with the image of Finn Balor in the ring.
Yes.
Everybody throwing streamers in the ring. And oh my God, that must be so cool to like just kind of be in that kind of environment. I know Ring of Honor does that too, but just, seeing that in a WWE event, WWE show, I think is pretty cool.
So we're going to be here in 2 weeks. We're also going to be here Tuesday to talk about Tough Enough.
Yeah.
And you guys should join us then, but in between, you guys should also join us on Twitter to start the conversation. George, where can the people find you on Twitter?
Weren't you supposed to try and stump me sometime?
Do I have one?
Oh, I guess we're running out of time.
I think I had one that was rough. Around the edges.
Oh, well, I guess we'll never know.
All right, well, you
can find her at Christy Reports. I got you. Christy Olson at Christy Reports. It's Christy with a CH.
That's correct. And a Y at the end.
No, that's Christy Reports. It's an S at the end.
Oh, well.
Christy Reports. Not Christy Reports C. But you can find me at G Hermoza, GHERMOZA. You got that question?
I do have that question. From 1998 to 2015, how many documentaries has the WWE produced? I'm with you on that.
That's like saying,
really? You aren't going to just start naming them off like you do
I
stuff
could.
all the
that's
time?
a lot.
I could, but I'm saying like, am I supposed to just name them right now?
No, and they don't have a number. That's for us to. We can hone that into be a better question. You guys
We'll
can
see
follow
when we
me at Steve Kaufmann. That's KAUFMANN. Special thanks
Let's see. There's...
to ProWrestlingTees.com for these awesome shirts.
But I have a question
And
again. And so in '98, is that like documentaries, like DVDs? Like, and
Yes,
you gotta be more specific with the question.
It was a vague question. Thank you guys
But
for
a
joining
nice
us.
try. Thank you, fan.
Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.